Good afternoon, friends. At the outset, I would like to thank all the members of CAN for having suffered me during the past 1 year as president. I specifically thank Dr. Suresh and our treasurer, and I acknowledge Dr. Haridas, Dr. Vinayan, and Dr. Pradeep Kumar, who encouraged me throughout my tenure. Now, my speech is a personal one. It shows my journey through neurology, right down from the date I was born, or the first event which I thought which comes to my mind in my life. The first event which comes to my life is my standing with my father outside the Royal College of Physicians, Edinburgh. My father had taken me as a 5-year-old child when he went to do MRCP. In those days, most of the neurologists over here, they were trained in neurology, including Dr. G. Arjun Das, who is the doyen of neurologists, and K. Jagannathan. They were not DM. The first DM was Krishnamurti Srinivas. Second was Gauri Devi. That is what the records show. So the first batch voyaged to England. My father was trained under James Simpson, the myasthenia man, Simpson's test, and the world famous neurosurgeons Norman Dot and Francis Gillingham. So I'll just tell certain incidents only, because I have got 25 minutes, and I am ticking the clock by myself. Okay, now, first thing was that my father and mother went for a driving test together in England. My father failed. My mother is only 10th standard. So that proves that native intelligence is as good as your neurological intelligence. So she used to take him to the Royal College, drop me in school, and bring me back. Back here, my father returned here. Along with him were the trained neurologists of that time, G.K. Warrior, C.B.C. Warrior, and M.G. Sahadevan. They were all in Calicut, that's why I remember, and I were their students also later on. So he landed in Trivandrum, and the Rajesh Shekhar Nair sir has got the records that the first appointed neurologist in the state of Kerala is my father, when he was appointed as tutor in neurology in Trivandrum Medical College. Now then you will ask what happened to him. Then he was not seen. I'll tell you what happened. Now they allotted 4 beds to neurology. Neurology was under the octopus grip of the medicine department. So no way to move around. My father being a very good physician, so he got terribly upset. So somehow he managed to get a transfer to Calicut, where there was no neurology department. So all of them, this group of people, including the father of medicine in Malabar, Dr. C.K. Ramachandran. All of them were there together, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 6. Now, I'll tell you what was happening in neurology there. Nothing was happening. There was no EEG, no CT scan, no MRI scan. So I remember myself going with my father. He was doing a carotid angiogram at that time. My God, that Tumba Vikshanam is far better. So much of fire, blood, the entire, because what they were doing is that they'll do an angiogram, they'll try to take multiple X-rays, then try to get a picture of the middle cerebral or the anterior cerebral particularly, and then see whether there is any shift. And if there is any shift, that they'll say that definitely you have a SOL. So what happened? Years after I became a neurologist, a patient came to me with an angiogram. This angiogram was done by your father. Then your father said that I am going to die with 6 months. Now I am around here. So that is one. So those were the days when everything was dependent on the clinical acumen of these stalwarts. We can call them stalwarts. Now, because I'm trying to keep with time. Now what happened is that, so I used to go with my father. Now I'll tell you how a neurologist can be killed. It's my own father, so I can make comments. So these people started practicing psychiatry. So one day my father told me, see son, the neurologist rides in the Rolls Royce owned by the psychiatrist. At that time I felt it's a good idea. But later on I felt it's a bad idea. So that's why people who work with me see that I don't see any psychiatric case. So what happened is that these people are enamored by the psychiatric cases over there. And that was in Malabar when the patriarchy was so dominant that if one lady in Vadagara in one house gets it, 12 houses continuously will get hysteria. So the main purpose was to see whether it is hysteria or epilepsy. Of course, stroke was there. That is a different thing. There is a stroke, meningitis and all. There is a tuberculosis, meningitis and all. Not much of a difference now. So anyhow, that was a saga with my father. And I'll tell you very pathetic situation which I had to face. So my father had wanted to start a medical college. So somehow he managed to get an appointment with Indira Gandhi next day in the evening. And he wanted to start it off by the evening train, there is no airport in Calicut, then go to Madras, take a flight to Delhi. So I just went in to meet him for some purpose. He was sitting in this baby memorial hospital in the room in which Alexander was sitting today. Till he was also displaced now. It's called simple displacement in chemistry. Okay. So I went to meet him and all. Then he said something and I said, okay, son. And then I went out. Majid knows my father very well. So we just went out. Then there was a hue and cry over there. I rushed back to the room and then I found him dead. At that time, you will not believe it, not a single hospital had a defibrillator in Calicut. So the only defibrillator available was in Calicut Medical College. So we rushed him to medical college. He was already dead, pupils dilated and all. So that left me, and I told you I'm the only son, that left me with a lot of loans, etc. and all. So we tried to run the institution, the same baby memorial hospital for some time, but there was a problem. The problem was that I had completed my MBBS in Calicut Medical College. And then I had got admission in a very prestigious institution, Osmania Medical College. So I was doing my first year MD at that time. At that time, suddenly there came the burst. J.M.K. Murthy came there. J.M.K. Murthy, Veer Raghava Reddy was the top neurologist in Andhra Pradesh. So after him, J.M.K. Murthy came with the DM neurology and a specific clinical approach and all. So we were very much attracted to J.M.K. Murthy. After some time, Mohandas came. So we were doing our MD at that time. So we used to go there to Nizams for this thing. So it came to me that I should become a neurologist. Oh, my father is a neurologist. And till that time, I had thought that I shall only hold his bag and roam around behind him because he is young. He died at the age of 53, mind you, at 53 now. So what happened is that, okay, I thought I'll try to get a neurology degree. Now, coming to the neurology degree at that time, before that, let us say, one day Mohandas turned up with a film, something like a film. We didn't know what it is. This is called the CT scan. That is the first CT scan turned up in Nizams at that time. Then he came out with the CT scan. Then Shantaram turned up, medicine professor, with the echocardiogram. Then somebody turned up with the EEG. Okay, so all these things had now started coming into the government sector. So I was more attracted by this because now we are able to diagnose something and we are able to see what it is. So I thought I should get a DM. So after passing out by Osmania, I left. In between, I forgot to tell you, my father was resigned from government service because he had a tiff, or what should I, fight with the major minority community party of my community. They didn't like his views on certain things. They transferred him to Kottayam. He just resigned and he set up a private practice. That's how we built up this baby memorial. Then we came to the in the Manapad hospital which he had built, he had developed neurosurgery. Dr. John was the neurosurgeon, Professor John. He was our neurosurgeon. I'm just giving the names so that you'll be able to relate to what it was. So now neurology is set. Now where do we go after passing? So there was only one seat in Nizams. There was only one seat in Trivandrum Medical College. The total number of DM seats in India was 26 only. All the All India institutes had only 2 or 3, they may be remembering. Majid was there and Chitra, I remember, at that time when I joined. So this means that there is the scope, the chance of getting admitted was very low. So what do I do is that I apply everywhere. I applied everywhere, and what I found is that everywhere there is a barrier. You will not believe this. There are people, James is sitting in front of me. At that time, the admission for DM in Trivandrum was made only, DM not DM, all super specialties was made only on the basis of an interview. There is no test. Absolutely there was no test. There is no test. James knows that he knows he's a third candidate or fourth candidate when this thing came. I'll tell you, I know all these chaps who wrote the exams, what happened in the exams, everything I remember. So I'll tell you. So then I went to Chitra. Now Chitra, even more a funny thing was occurring at that time. They had 2 sponsored seats. Now initially the sponsored seats was meant for the states, but slowly they turned it to sponsored by hospitals. You know that. And I know who the people are who got those seats through sponsored hospital seat, which belonged to them. If I had retained Manapad Hospital, I would have also got the seat. Chitra. Now we come to Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu had a very funny rule. There are 6 seats or 7 seats, including Madurai. 6 of them are reserved. 1 or 2 only are for the open category. Now, if there is no candidate in the reserved category, that seat will be vacant. How is this possible? How can a seat be vacant? That year the seat goes. So I asked, that is only to maintain the caste balance. So the backward class seat cannot go to the forward caste. This was the rule there. Next stop, Nizams. There another rule came. Nizams is situated in Hyderabad. That is in Telangana. So presidential rule 1993 says all seats in Telangana will be kept only for Telangana people. So the Andhra Pradesh student need not study at all here. So I thought now we should fight. This cannot be left alone. I filed a case against the states of Kerala. Now you can check up in this thing. Fazal Ghafoor versus the Union of India. And the states of Kerala. Just tap Fazal Ghafoor versus the Union. You will see so many judgments. So all the admissions after that is after my case. So I took up all these things. One in Tamil Nadu. And then Kerala, it was going on. Andhra, I lost. So I went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court agreed that what you said, we will pass orders. Then I told them, I am only going to take the Tamil Nadu seat. They asked why. I said, because that is a 2-year seat. Nizam is a 3-year seat. You understand? So I'll join only in Tamil Nadu. So I went and joined Madras Medical College. So now you understand, see the complexities of this. How will a person fight in those days? He has to travel along, attend so many courts. Then he doesn't have any data available. There is no internet, nothing. There is no money available, no credit card, everything you have to carry in your pocket. Anyhow, I did all these things myself. Nobody was there. So eventually I'll tell you what happened. The Supreme Court ordered in this thing, in all institutions. First candidate who got, by that time I had got in Madras. First candidate who got in Kerala, Trivandrum Medical College, is Mohammadunju. You can correct me if you want. If I remember, then it is IPE. Then third, it is James Jones. That much I know. That is how on merit they got the seat. Otherwise, they have to stand and then some politician would be interfering and doing all these things and preventing them from joining the joining on merit. Now, God's will is very funny. So I joined Madras Medical College, Madurai. It would be Madurai or Madras. So then what happened? They transferred me to Madurai from Madras because of a punishment transfer. The Supreme Court committed error. This does not occur, only God's will can do. Supreme Court admitted me in the senior batch. So 2-year course, admitted in the senior batch. So what happened? I didn't look into this. So after 1 year after doing DM, along in the Krishnamurti Srinivas, I got a call from the office saying, your admission card, admit card has come for DM examinations. It is 007. My God, bond. Anyway, I was doing some bond work only. And I went there. Then they said, yes, sir, you have to appear 1 year. My wife was flabbergasted. How can you do a DM within 1 year? Then I went to my guru. My guru is G. Arjun Das. That's why I'm very close to Deepak. So I went to Deepak. Then Arjun Das said, see, if you want, you can do it. In all the other institutes, all other places in the world, there is no bar of time. So then I went back to K. Srinivas. See, I was going around with all giants. K. Jagannath, then first, G. Arjun Das, second, Krishnamurti Srinivas, then K. Srinivasan. There. And K. Srinivasan in Madurai. So I landed up to K. Srinivasan. K. Srinivasan said, nothing doing. You have to write next year. I said, it is okay, no problem. 2 days later, K. Srinivasan transferred to Coimbatore. Don't tell me I did it. A small boy at that time, no chance. KS transferred to, so that left only another giant was there, Associate Professor K. Jayakumar. Our Jayakumar. He was there. So I was going around. So head of the department became a neurosurgeon called K. Gajendran. So Gajendran called me and said, Fazal, anyhow, you don't have an HOD. You better appear. So what will we do? We will write like this. From the date of joining, you have got 85% attendance. Oh yeah. Anyhow, I have passed, and the comment of the examiner was this way. KS told something about me. He said, he's not a useless fellow. He's not a good fellow, not to be passed. The examiner, Bhaskar from Tanjavur, he told, see, for a 1-year person, he's very good, we'll pass him. Even though I didn't know how to treat status epilepticus. That is a question asked. So that is how I landed up with DM and all. In between, then I came back to Calicut, and of course, then the Umman Chandi government came, and they said that they are going to open new medical colleges in the private sector. So Pushpagiri and ourselves, when Kolanjeri, Pushpagiri, ourselves, Jubilee, and Amala, 5 of us applied for the first year itself. So we all got the MBBS seat. Sorry, the medical college consent, letter of consent, and then the permission from the government. And that is how we established this medical college in Calicut, in Perindalmanna. So in between, I am a fellow who does indulges in so many things. This is out of the way. So later on, I thought I should indulge in some other activity. So I became the Kerala Film Chamber president. It was very funny. How I became the film chamber is that I had cinema theatres. So they made me the president. And I am responsible for what is called the wide release. There are only 40 people from Tiruvalla. If I am telling wrong, they should correct me. Tiruvalla was not a release center. Only Kottayam and Changanasheri were release centers. So similarly, it was devastating. Only 40 release centers all over Kerala. When I was during my tenure, it was made into 400 release centers. But my name is not in history. And then we got permission also to start multiplexes. In the top of, if you have a theatre, you can have 2, 3 theatres. Modification like Ramdas in Trichur. It is converted that way. So that is another aspect. So then we started this thing, and I have only a few minutes more left. Then we decided to start the DM neurology course in our medical college. We have got 3 seats, 15 or 13 candidates were passed out. All of them, first candidate was Dr. Subair. I was helped in this by Dr. Krishnadas sitting here, Dr. Neeta. Now Dr. Subair is with us, then Dr. Rafiq and Dr. Firoz Khan. All of us are there. And we have started the DM neurology, and it is going on well. Our students are presenting pay cases. They are doing quite well. I think the MD award is going to one of our students. So this is the entire background in which we have worked. Correct time. Timing is correct. Okay. So again, I think I have around, I was told now 25 minutes. Now it is exactly 25. So I'll end up with a poetry because I somehow, the last time I said a poetry, it was pronounced so badly that Madhusudan sir thought that I am hurling some abuses at him on a year. So the poetry in the end is this way. मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं, इज्जतें, शोहरतें, दौलतें, उल्फतें, चाहतें, कुछ भी नहीं इस दुनिया में, कुछ भी नहीं इस दुनिया में। आज मैं जहाँ हूँ, कल कोई और होंगे। आज मैं जहाँ हूँ, कल कोई और था। वो भी एक दौर है, ये भी एक दौर है। मुझे इतना प्यार मत दो यारों, मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं। Thank you. Good morning, friends. With deep sorrow, I am standing before you to introduce you to Dr. Mohammad Unja, in whose name we are conducting this seminar. Dr. Mohammad Unja is probably the first pediatric neurology professor in Kerala, if you take the Kerala government services. He was a good friend of mine. Actually, our friendship started when both of us appeared for the first entrance exam for DM, which was conducted in Kerala. First attempt. We'll come to that later. And both of us got admitted. And from there, the friendship started. Mohammad Unja used to remind me every time the NSI had an inaugural oration in the name of my father. Later on, one day he called me and said, Fazal, I heard that you have started DM neurology, and I'm sending my son-in-law, Dr. Subair, to join there for DM. So Dr. Subair, his son-in-law, is our first DM neurology candidate. Now he is associate professor there itself. After that, he called me and said he is sending his daughter, Reshma, who also passed out from our institution, and she is with us today. And another thing was that there was some problem regarding this DM, pediatric neurology. At that time, I was a member of the MCA, and I had strongly advocated that there should be a pediatric neurology DM, and there should not be any bar on giving that degree. There was some sort of confusion where there's... Anyhow, when he was ill, his family informed me first. And I have been through the entire process till his death. Once again, we dedicate this session of pediatric neurology in the name of a good friend, a good humanitarian, a good person, a good teacher. Everything is good in Dr. Mohammad Unja. Thank you.